Right, we're going to try the other one then.
Last year, Tina Owen and Mark Puffett would have been driving to work together. They both had good jobs at Woolworths, a five-and-dime store that once thrived in the U.S. But 1 week after Christmas, they, along with 27,000 co-workers, were, quote, made redundant, the British term for laid off.
I've got no job. I've got no way of keeping my house. The only thing that keeps me going, really, is my children.
So most afternoons, Tina and Mark leave their 14-year-old daughter and 5-year-old son with their grandmother while they look for work.
I'm getting to the stage now where I don't want to get up in the morning. It is really hard.
I think things are good. Things will get better, you know?
I hope so, because I just can't go on anymore.
Have you ever thought of maybe if you moved out to another area, or is it the situation is bad everywhere?
All over everything, really.
Tina and Mark's personal pain is being played out every day around the world.
I'm afraid the downside of globalization is abundantly clear. Within weeks, the problems that afflicted American banks that suddenly thought, what's all this stuff worth? Answer, not very much. The same questions were asked in London, they were asked in Europe, they were asked in Asia.
In China, more than 70,000 factories closed, 20 million jobless. In France, more than 2 million unemployed. In Germany, 3.5 million are out of work. Italy's national debt is now greater than the size of its economy. And the slowdown is so severe in Ukraine, daily protests are common, and some textile workers are being paid with the dish towels they manufacture. Alistair Darling is Chancellor of the Exchequer, or the British equivalent of Treasury Secretary.
There's an expression, if the U.S. economy gets a cold, the rest of the world catches the flu. Do you blame the U.S. in any way for this?
No, I think it's utterly pointless blaming, you can spend ages blaming people. America's banking system had difficulties, so did ours, so did just about every other banking system in the world.
London itself is a stark example of what's gone wrong. The financial center of the city makes up 1/3 of the jobs here, and despite the fact that 130,000 have been lost since the summer of 2007, the mayor of London, Boris Johnson, is relentlessly optimistic. But even he can't deny the scope of the crisis.
How is London faring right now?
Well, obviously, things are tough, and I guess that if you're looking at London from the other side of the Atlantic, you'd say, hey, those guys, the City of London, they must be on their knees. Things must be very, very bad for them. And in many ways, of course, this is a deep, deep recession. But there are parts of the London economy that are doing extremely well, and it's fascinating that employment in January actually grew more than it did in January last year. Correct.
Johnson points to tourism and the upcoming 2012 Olympics as evidence that London is moving forward. But most construction has been brought to a grinding halt.
We see a lot of cranes on the horizon. In fact,
are they
right
motionless
behind you.
cranes? Are you going to say? Are you now going to say that they're standing idle?
I am.
I can see one moving there.
Look at all these, though.
Are they? Well, what's the time now? They're probably knocked off. Can someone get onto the... There, he's moving!
On the street, it's even more apparent. The signs are unmistakable. And the first American-style auction of foreclosed homes is an unwelcome import.
Having had a lot of experience in the United States, we've seen how the repossession market has just grown over time, and I think that Britain is probably, I'd say, about a year behind.
Tina and Mark know they too could be weeks away from losing their home. Just one family in one city, ravaged by a global economic crisis.
It is very difficult. I mean, to put food on the table, gas and electric on, clothe ourselves as well as our children, it's impossible.
The human toll of a crisis world leaders have come here to London to fix.